Hey, Gutfoxx here. Welcome to the MUT Men podcast episode. Is it 192 or 193? One of those numbers in there. We're joined by a very special guest, a hardcore Madden player. Yet your talents lie in another sport. Ryan Hollins, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, this is crazy to be a part of the podcast. I've been a big fan for a while, man. So it's cool to be here. Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, no problem. Are you like outside, like wandering around like the parking lot or something?
I am. I'm gonna try to get away from this wind. I know the wind is probably kind of messing me up right now. So
Yeah, it's okay. It sounds like there's like a woodpecker going on in the background too.
Yeah, I guess there's some sound or whatever. I'm leaving an event in Houston for the kids. There's a self-esteem building conference, man. Had a cool giveaway deal, so just outside right now. But I'll be in in a moment.
Self-esteem building, huh? Is the youth? Oh, I guess I should introduce you and whatever. But are the youth too coddled nowadays?
Yes and no. I think that like from the time when we grew up, like there is some messed up stuff that happened, and like we didn't address real issues that we had, and for that, some of us are messed up when we get older. And then like there's an element where our generation was a lot tougher. So I'm 37. I don't know how you. Excuse me. I'm 38 now. I don't know how old you are, guy. I assume we're around the same age, but like it's just like where you just went out and you just did what you're supposed to do because you were supposed to do it, and you didn't get these big rewards, and everybody didn't necessarily care about your feelings, and you end up being successful or not. So I think I'm somewhere in between.
That's fair. That's fair. Hey, what's your favorite NFL team? We're gonna have a matchup on the screen going.
Yeah, I'm a big 49er fan, so we don't play each other too much. Byron Scott, great Laker great. He was my coach, and he was a big Steeler guy too. So used to talk a lot of trash with him. But I don't have like a beef with Steeler. I love Tomlin, so like I'm good, and I don't think we wouldn't have to see you guys to the Super Bowl. So like I mean, yeah, I like the Steelers. I want to see them do well.
Hell yeah. So, like, can you give a little bit about background on, like, your history, just, like, life, and then what you're doing now, and then, and we'll go from there.
So, for me, it probably seems like an odd pairing because I played 10 years in the NBA, 4 years in college at UCLA. I'm 7 feet tall, but I love the game of Madden. For some reason, math and science in Madden just makes more sense to me than basketball. And I like the game of 2K, but Madden just clicks. I'm good in 2K, but I'm like great in Madden. I don't know if that made any sense. I now currently work for the Houston Rockets as a broadcaster. And for me, like video games during my NBA career in youth, like kept me out of trouble. Like I wasn't out getting in trouble. I wasn't out hanging out in nightclubs. I'm sitting there playing video games. So for me, I love the games. I've been a big fan of Madden for a very long time. And I think that those things have just, obviously helped me out and, elevated me. So that's just like a little bit of my history. And like, I'm a big part of the community. You may not see me, you may not hear me a lot, but I've definitely been around for a very long time. It's funny. I was actually ranked like back like a while, dude. I mean, I think like all the way back, like Madden, 2000 and 2007 or 2008, I was top in the world then. So it's just funny. You just never know who you're online playing against.
Yeah, because like you were number one like on the leaderboards in Madden 20. And I remember I matched up with you. I had no idea who you were in 20. And you were running the most degenerative POS scheme that you could have ran, which was stretch and then like the 3-4 send 7. And oh my God, I got so angry. I was like, this fucking guy. And then like when I posted the game to YouTube, because I forgot. I guess I ended up winning because I wouldn't have posted if I lost, right? People were like, yeah, yo, I think that's Ryan Hollins' name. I'm like, what the hell, really? Holy crap!
Oh.
Like this, like, what's that? Go on.
So it's so funny you bring that up, dude. Like, I didn't like you for a very long time. I'll be honest, guy. Like, my feelings were hurt because I was like a huge fan of yours, like Market Monday and the whole deal. And then, like, I wake up one morning, I'm like, oh, let's check out Market Monday. And it's like, number one guy gets demolished, this idiot. I'm like, yo, I hate Gutfoxx. And, like, shout out to G Maya, man. That's my guy right there, man. We go back for a while. And I tell G and I'm like, man, like this idiot Gutfoxx, like I hate this guy. And it's like, I think we like started talking on Twitter or whatever, and I'm like, okay, like he's cool, you know what I'm saying? So like, but like for a while, like listen, my feelings, I was in my feels, and like, I think it's just part of like Madden where you don't know somebody and they talk or they say something, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's just, I've gotten in more fights with my boys over Madden than anything else that I got right in my life. Like, you're in more fights, like literally fist fights, like, your mom, your dad, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, my boy, I don't want to express what he said. We're playing a game of Madden, dude, and we're going back and forth, and I'm young, so we start calling each other out of each other's names, and it's like, oh, you're an expletive, you're an expletive. Okay, I don't cuss, so I'm not gonna say the word. And then, and he's like, we heat up, and I'm like, yeah, man, you act just like your dad, when you get mad. And he goes, he's not even my real dad. And I'm like, dude, some real life stuff came out during Madden, and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. I can't apologize. But long story short, like, Madden games go completely too far, man. Completely too far.
Yeah, it's true. Like the reason, like I started like covering people's names now when I play them. Like I cover it with my stuff. So because dog, you're right. We say some wild things, and like I don't want anybody to take offense. Because like a lot of the time it is funny, right? Like a lot of this is just some sort of like stand up, like just entertainment at times. But like that's why I try to like just tell everybody, I'm just facing nameless creatures of the night when I play online Madden, because I don't want people to get like offended. I don't want to like play people in stream because they can see what I'm running. That makes me even more tilted and stuff because I can't talk about what I'm seeing. So that's kind of like what I've changed since Madden 20. I feel like I've gotten better because we still like there's literally no way of not being angry at this game.
No, I want to fight you, and then I'm like, I don't think he knows it's me. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And like, I don't know if you know, I remember that game like yesterday. I was actually labbing, and I think you had Michael Irvin. And the thing about the ladder system that they changed from back in the day, see, before you had to be legit like 100 wins to 2 losses to be ranked. I just played a lot of games, dude. And there's a mix of like, I was good, but I don't believe I was great, okay? Because I played a lot of games. So I'd lab in head-to-head, and I'm like, let me try something against Bunch. Because you remember Bunch that year, the blocking was out of control. You could sit in the pocket for just 10 seconds if you blocked your tight end. And I was trying something different. And you had Michael Irvin ripped a hole in my behind that game. He went crazy. And then like I watched the video, I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's like, I've used that mode to just lab, and I'm like, like I didn't know your screen name. So you also on the other end, you don't know who you're playing. I'm like, okay, this dude is gonna expose you on YouTube. It'd be ripping on you. So, like fun times, but it's just the thing about Madden that just keeps you going,
Yeah, Madden 20 was like the last Madden where like Bunch wasn't like the complete meta, because it was basically like an I form, under center, near, like stretch, dive, that kind of thing of a year. And so like I was like, all right, let's go in Bunch, because at least Bunch can block the wild blitz. Because like if you remember Madden 20, you could have a deep third, and they would literally play the flats with how insane they reacted. So you couldn't really throw flat passes in 20. So it was a running year because passing was dang near impossible. But I just, bang my head against the ground and still try to pass in it. But yeah, so like it was like needed, because that 3-4 blitz that you were sending, like you literally couldn't pick that up in almost any other form.
No, and like the way I play, like if it makes any sense, like in the NBA, I was a defender. So I'm always going to think of the best way to defend. And my mindset is I'm going to be aggressive, and I'm going to force you to do something, as a pro athlete, I'm going to force you to do something you're uncomfortable with. So, yes, you're going to dot me all the way down the field one way or another. But if I can force you into a turnover or a mistake, because there is no perfect defense, that's what I'm going to do. So, if you notice, all the best players are always trying to find those blitzes. And the pros are so good that you can't blitz them. So they end up sending 2 or sending 3 or finding a way to send 2 and get some type of sheds and just pray, in the background, which is so kind of wild to me, seeing Dez actually blitz and beat Clef and get a belt blitzing. I thought those days were kind of over with, but I just feel like blitzing is good for the game because you got to be quick on your toes. That's why I'm so glad that those halfback routes have been taken out the game. And I feel like if people don't point at like last year, the halfback routes, when you can just snap through a halfback route, it blows up the blitz. And I don't think that's good for Madden either. I think that's something that I credit to the dev team for going and taking out, because if I always have that outlet, like I'm never going to get blitzed. I'm always going to have that outlet, and it makes the game, I don't want to say easy to play, but it makes those pro players just hard to play.
That's actually a really valid point, and something I didn't think about until I was recording like an ebook last night. It's like halfback routes this year are definitely worse than we've seen them in a while. Like obviously last year with the halfback wheel low throw was overpowered as hell, but like all halfback routes seem like they're just like worse. Like the arrow route, the ins, the outs, like even angle routes don't even beat man coverage as well this year. So you actually kind of like that, huh?
No, I love it because I'm a blitzer. And if you even think about it, like out of the bunch, like Dez still ran that. It's the wide route where if you naturally get that stock, you can't make it anymore. That wide halfback wheel route, you can kind of beat a blitz with that. But like you said, you can't just go, out the backfield. But on the other end, obviously, like I'd run it too. Like, but I ran it. I'm like off meta, dude. So I'd run it last year, and I'd do that halfback wheel, and I'd throw short out on the tight end and take him out the backfield. Because you can snap throw that over anybody when you get a player 6'5" and above. It's funny, everybody's agging now, but like me and G Maya, we were agging for a very long time. But I've been agging like since Plexico Burris was on the Steelers. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way like I kind of play, because it's something, even my mistakes don't get picked off. And if you can find a play like that, it's always good to be in your arsenal. Your mistakes not being picked off is just something key to have in the game.
I think it's bad. It's bad for the game, in my opinion, when like mistakes don't get punished. But I see what you're going for right there, because it makes offense much more effective. So like, what is your off-meta offense this year then?
So right now, like I always start the game in like a wing tight, because I don't have the money. I'm not going to spend a bunch of money on the game. And tight ends in those wing tight kind of always get open. So right now, I morphed. I actually run bunch open tight end just to blow up dollar. And the bunch open tight end is good for me, because if you don't have three guys over there aligned, I'm going to throw the screen 10 out of 10 times. And then when you match up man, I throw that tight end on that, that's not a wheel route. It's like a C route or whatever, a little donut route. Me and my boy used to call it a pizza route back in the day. And throw him on that pizza route. And then I got that streak is it's a stock fade. And then that corner route is going to beat any man play. So, I kind of go anti-blitzer, if that makes sense. I got the tight end running the route, the donut route, little pizza route. And then I got that corner route that's pretty glitchy on the side. And I was running it with Waller, because the thing about Waller is I can hit him. I throw Energizer on Waller. Shout out to my guy Rag6. He showed me that. And I can truck you. And what happens with that trucking, I haven't fumbled yet, but he lights up and you get more energy down the field. So I'd have Waller on that right now. I'm labbing it with Randy Moss, just because when he runs that corner out, he's going to beat you for 6. But I got to find a way. So if there's a player that can break a tackle and beat man coverage, he's going to be in that slot for me. And then any tight end with short end is going to go wild. And I heard you earlier talking about Taysom Hill getting that short end for no AP. So he may be in the arsenal now just playing just because of that.
Yeah. 0 AP plus he's the fastest tight end of the game. It looks pretty crazy. So like the chat's wondering, did you spend all your money in the strip club? You got NBA money and yet you don't put in for MUT, huh?
I am one of the cheapest like guys ever, dude. Like it's just my principle. And for any of those you who want to make something of yourself in life, the same way you treat $5, you got to treat $5 million. I value it. And if I'm going to spend, like I just got that last bundle, you saw me tweet at you because it was so ridiculous. And shout out to my guy, Mexi Brown. I was watching Mexi Brown on stream, and I see him hit for like $5 million. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. He's like, yo, you got to try this. And if I'm going to spend, I'm getting bang for my buck. You know what I'm saying? So I'll spend on something like that because I'm going to ration that money out. And like, to me, Market Monday is so instrumental. Like, you got to know when to get off players. You got to know when to sell them. I'm not just going to have the most stacked team. I want to feel like I work for my team. But if I'm going to get, like, I've been no money spent for a while. And that's why I raged kind of like at last year. I just win a bunch of head-to-head games. But even winning a Legend Super Bowl didn't get you money. EA taking out the money because shout out to my guy Gibbs. When Gibbs introduced me to the game, I was good at Madden. I played regs, and he said, "If you're good, you're going to get coins. Play the game." Well, now I'm good, and I don't get coins for winning a Legend Super Bowl. So that's screwed people over. So that was the frustrating thing. So yeah, okay. Remember when remember what?
Are you talking last year or this year?
Last year was the worst.
Oh,
this year
okay.
just improved. But the days where the touchdown packs actually gave you something, or you could take your 100K or whatever, and then it dropped to 75K for winning. Why did that come out the game? Because I want to be rewarded because I'm good. There's a small percentage of people that are actually good in the game. So to take that out the game is a problem to me. Now, if you want to just spend money and juice your team, that's fine. I'd rather be good in the game and spend no money. It's a pride issue, but you almost can't do that anymore. It becomes incredibly tough. If you think about from where it was, getting that 100K, then it dropped 75, and then there's no option of a coin pack. That needs to come back into the game because everybody doesn't win Legend Super Bowls.
Yeah, like from what I've seen this year, Legend Super Bowls pay out a really, really good amount of coins. Now, I know they had they were nerfed for a little bit when the market went down. They better, yeah. It definitely is a little bit better. Yeah, trophies. Chad is talking about, obviously rewards, but dude,
remember you grind for John Madden and sell Madden and come up a mill piece, that was a thing.
The thing, okay, when I win Legend Super Bowls, I'm making 300 to 400K. I feel which I feel is quite a bit, isn't it? That's 9 games.
Okay, right. So you win a Legend Super Bowl, you get 300 or 400K, right? All right. So let's say if you're no money spent and you want to get a Darren Woodson, a new Legends card, and power him up, you can barely even get the top card of the power up, bro. You should be coming off. Or what I used to do is grind trophies, right? And remember your seasonal hero or whatever he's called. I would lose half my trophies, and I would buy that guy immediately and sell him, and then I would grind. So that grind of winning. So it wasn't just that 300 or 400K. You got a surplus of trophies that you are able to flip into coin, and you can't do that now. So we're back in the day. I get it. It's money. It's a business. Reward the people who grind and play the game. And this whole what are they, DNS or what are there? The little non whatever guys you can't put into packs. You can't put into money. That's crap.
Oh yeah,
it's nonsense.
B&D.
Yeah, B&D. Yes, the B&Ds. It's nonsense. And maybe if you want to make it more elite, credit the people in a major way for winning a weekend league. Credit the people who win these Legend Super Bowls and let it be residual. You should be able to cycle through and not have to spend. But if I'm a pro, I'm a guy who's going to win, I got to spend money, dude, or I spend just an insane amount on the game. And I'm a person who spends an insane amount on the game, and I'm not being rewarded the way that I should be.
Yeah, I think I agree with a lot of what you're saying right there. I feel though, you and I are kind of looking at Super Awards. I feel they're pretty good this year. And the thing about pros, you're right on that. Year. But the pros need, or last year, yeah, the pros need to get here's the thing: new cards will always be the most expensive cards in the game because they're very they're new exclusive and they're the best cards. So their prices are always inflated for a week or two. You can always wait for them to go down, but the pros need them immediately for tournaments. Okay, so that definitely feel for them having to spend to get the immediate cards because they can't really no money spent that unless they're insane at the game. Like Dreeny's probably got a bunch. I know Joker Kale goes no money spent too, and he's got tens of millions of coins because he wins so much. So there are those people, but you really got to play the game night and day at a top tier level. Win you got to have a win percentage 98% to keep winning those Legend Super Bowls. But for someone who do you compete in EA tournaments?
So I haven't competed in a tournament. The biggest thing is I tried to do a salary cap one year, and I stopped because I realized I'm not going to spend money on the game. Because as soon as, you said, a new card comes out, it was I'm going to spend $100 to just get in the sweepstakes to win whatever. And what's funny is, back in the day, a lot of people don't know this. Shout out to Gibbs and Farrells. Those are my guys back. I go way back when they used to run the strategy guide, and he got the biggest laugh over if I won a belt one day. An NBA player winning a belt. So I haven't competed, and I think it's gotten to the point where it's almost impossible to compete unless, like you said, you are spending that money day one. And right now, I don't even know how to get into the running, but I'm sure I'm better than a lot of these bums that are ladders getting run through, but I'd say where I am competitively in the game at my best. All right, and I'm not there yet. I am better. I can go back and forth with a lower level pro. Like I'll beat pros, but if I played somebody who's about that life, I'm gonna get run through. Like when I played Clef, I can lose the Clef by a touchdown in some certain years when I'm good. If I played like a Throne, like Throne gets a blitz and Throne has just run through me, then I've also beat the dog pants out of Throne. You know what I'm saying? Like so, like on that fringe, probably like you, where like I'm like I can beat pros, but I'm not gonna win a belt unless if I just find something in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Find like a blitz that nobody's seen, or like a glitch that's like exclusive to
Yes.
you. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel you there. Yeah, I mean we both had
I've
our
had my years where I felt like I was pretty like unstoppable, or like like Dubby, like I'd go and Dubby played him match up, and we just like we kind of go back and forth, and he's definitely gotten the best of me, but I think I beat him maybe once or twice through the whole time, but like there's a difference between it.
yeah, without a doubt. So like yeah, I mean like it's crazy talking about MUT and stuff because is it just something like are people ever satisfied with Madden and Ultimate Team with where it's at with where its rewards are like because like I think most people in MLB the Show are very satisfied with the game because how easy it is to get a squad. Like do you think like okay so I kind of want to know how you look at the game. You look at the game just on the field and playing it and trying to use the biggest cards. Like, what do you feel about like? Are you motivated by the building of the team aspect, or are you just motivated by actually like playing it?
I love the building of the team aspect. That's what's gotten me over. So I used to be big regs, like topping regs. And what I realized is I feel what year was that where it was like Atlanta and Seattle? I played Atlanta versus Seattle for like 9 straight months of my life. And I said no
15.
more. I said no more, okay? Right? And shout out because I feel like abilities has made regs a perfect game where it kind of hurt Mutt to a degree, but regs is perfect because Aaron Donald plays like Aaron Donald and Cooper Cup plays like Cooper Cup, right? Because it's ability based, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like in our gameplay, I feel like abilities in some ways has hurt the game, but I feel like sometimes we're our own worst enemy. And my challenge is, and I know people at EA talk to guys behind the scenes, and this is my challenge to them when I talk. I go, it's rock, paper, scissors, dude. Rock beats scissors, but loses the paper. It's chess, okay? You got a king, you got a queen, you got pawns, you got certain people who can do this and certain people who can do that. I love the way abilities is kind of like, you know, ingratiated into the game to where we can play with different cards now. Different cards have value. It depends what you are. But I'm not a complainer about the game. I like to see what it's about. I thought that last year's game was just very hard to play because of wheel routes. At the end of the day, I could throw a wheel route.
Yeah.
I feel like competitive Madden should never just be sending 2 players at a guy and winning the game. I feel like you should that the block shed should be there. I feel like the Ags have been in Madden for a very long time. It's just kind of brainless. I don't like precision passing because at the end of the day, I can just precision pass to a one-on-one guy, and there's a chance I can throw it up. And I think remember some years back where it was I forget what it was. It was like Mike Evans or someone, and it was like chuck it up to Mike Evans and see if he catches it. All else fails, and a guy like won a belt off of doing that. I don't think that's good for the game either. But
16.
I think there's a level where like, yeah, right. You got to have a 6'5" guy against a 6'5" guy, or a 5'11" guy should be getting mossed by a 6'5" guy, but that 5'11" guy should be outrunning guys. So I think the team, this Madden overall, is much better than I expected, but there's some things that are kind of irritating, and there's a level where like you got to find the right play, you got to find the right card. But I think right now is a golden time in MUT where everybody shouldn't have excuses. You should be able to build, if you're a running meta, you should be able to build a running team. If you want to build a tall, monster, high point team, you should be able to build that. If you're a blitzing guy with speed, you should be able to build that where the cards are kind of evenly balanced as far as abilities are concerned at this point in the game.
Like, would that lead too much of a polarized meta? Because like most people on offense want to use the dumbest thing possible. So if they can build an all running squad and literally just hit A and go forward the whole time, they're gonna do that. Or if the
Well,
high point egg squad, like, shouldn't defense have tools? Like, because you're gonna run against all those different types of squads. Shouldn't defense, like, how would you balance out defense then? Or is it just you just like the offensive years?
well, like I said, it's rock paper scissors. Okay, and the offensive years I'm cool with, but I hated last year in the sense where like you had to score and then hold the clock out since it was too easy to score. So like
Yeah.
if you're running meta, I should have to have running abilities to stop you. I should, like, and I shout out to Joke, and I think Joke is retired. I think one of the funniest things said, because Joke came under so much scrutiny. I think you and Adam, I got to credit Joke, because everybody just dogged Joke because the wildness, and you saw how he was tweaking the meta and changing cards. He was like, "Well, learn how to shoot the gaps." And I thought, like, whatever you wanted to say about Joke, I think that was the most brilliant thing he ever said to you. You were attacking him. He's like, "Well, learn how to shoot a gap." Like, I got to give Joke credit where it's due. He absolutely run the game with the things he did, and he knows that. He got his belt, he got out. Congratulations to Joe. But I feel like, yes, like if I'm gonna run the ball and I'm gonna get running schemes, or you're gonna complain about running, my inside stuffs and my outside, whatever's outside stuffs or whatever should work. And if my running stuff is good, it should work. There should be a counter for every counter. So if I'm gonna ag you, right? You're trying to get an ag, go get a 6'4" corner with deep out on him and put him out there, or deep KO. And when he gets agged, that's a problem. But if anything, there should be a counter. So if you're complaining about it, use the ability, use the counter. That's what the abilities are there for. But when the abilities get too powered up, it does become a problem.
Yeah, and I think we both agree there. I mean, that's the problem, is like they're not being counters, even with deep out KO still getting egged on, pick artist still getting egged on, that kind of stuff. Or like the run, like the just shoot gaps, bro, comment was like in response to how powerful the game was. And I was like, they got to actually like, make defenders have leverage so that way you can't just run stretch the whole game. And his comment like just shoot gaps, bro, was like kind of a cop out, because he won a tournament just running the ball, obviously that was his offense, so like he wanted it to be very powerful, right? Like comp guys are very biased with a lot of that stuff.
He had too much. Yeah. And guess what? If I'm Joke, I do exactly what Joke did. I'm complaining about one AP gunslinger, and I'm doing all that just so I can win. And the way I play, so when I'm complaining so I win 100,000 or whatever. Like, so if you're not cheating, you're not charging. That's the end of the day. So I was never a runner. I was always a major passer, like a 5 wide guy. I became a stretch guy because I had to be. I became a stretch and streak guy because I had to be. I always liked to pass the football. That's what I did. But I became stretch and streak because that was the meta. I had to. And like one thing I do in my years when I go into the game when I'm good, I find the one play touchdown. I find the one play that's going to get me a home run. This run play is going to score. This passing play is going to get me 50 yards. And that's what I build my offense off of. I find the most powerful thing and then I build off of it. And that's kind of the way I work my schemes. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously the pros play different, but I'm an abuser. I'm the guy you'd hate. I'm the guy who's going to remember when Sap would just scream down the middle? I'm going to have Sap in there every time. And I'm going to try to lab how to make my guys A-gap you. I'm that guy too. So I can't complain about it. It's like you got to find a way how to block it.
I can see that Jemaya influence right there, Anya, with the degenerative. But the thing is, like, one play touchdowns, I think they should exist so people can't just spam the same thing over and over. But it shouldn't be like last year where there's universal one plays. Like, it's just overpowered. So, like, the thing is, like, I agree with the rock, paper, scissors in a chess match, and that's kind of where we want the game to be.
Let me comment on that. Okay, what did we complain before about the one play touchdown? What did we complain about till we were blue in the face? What? Roll out corners, right?
Yep.
Roll out corners, right? And then we complained that contains didn't work, right? But you want to know why contains didn't work? Because all the idiots had contain blitzes, right? So those contain blitzes are the reason that the contain blitz. So we got to be careful what we complain about. So now that contains work, we have it's amazing there are no contain blitzes. So hey, I think EA kind of got it right there. But now the one well maybe there's something to go ahead.
Haven't you gone against the loop blitz yet?
It just hasn't been strong enough for me to like not be able to beat. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't been strong enough. But like, my point is the one play touchdowns were so good because EA made everyone shift to the corner routes. So when your defense shifted to the corner routes, all you had to do is have a post or like a skinny post go up the middle, and a corner route would like I ran deuce close all last year, and I had two routes, dude. I'd run one corner and one deep post, and I scored touchdowns all the time. And like for a head-to-head guy, it's an easy one-play touchdown quit, you know. So that's something that I did. You know, I did a whole bunch of. But my point is, EA makes an answer to every answer, and then they can't take it out the game because we complain about it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, yes, we'll complain about it, but like that's still on EA to have a properly balanced game around one plays, around corners and everything. Like, so like EA is not even close to how football should play, and I agree. Yes. Sometimes our complaints and EA hears them and overreacts or like fixes it and there are unintended consequences, but then they could just fix those unintended consequences. I mean, that's just how this stuff tends to work out. The problem is like the speed at which they go is a lot slower than many of us want. So like, yes, these all have been problems, right? Roll out corner routes.
Yes.
And then that led to another problem. Then you got to fix that problem. And so like they keep doing these things, and it's you just keep checking it off, right? Because like there's probably like 10,000 glitches in this game, and all they can do is just check it off and go year to year and try and, you know, fix each one, and the worst one that year, and then hopefully the next year is better. But like that's just kind of like continuous improvement. That's just kind of life, man. Like I don't know, nothing's flawless.
So let me see if you agree with this. And I think it's something that you always say, and I love when you say it. You're like, give us effort. And I think that is a complaint with EA, is that you should have the effort. And when they don't give you the effort, that's frustrating. So just so you know, there's a couple things in the coding when the game gets launched, they can never take out. And that's a part of the game. Like they can't take it out. And then there's a part of them being lazy. Like you said, you know, EA will, and I've expressed this to them too, so I'm not saying anything different that I hadn't said. EA will tell you we have to get in the office on Monday and fix this glitch that's ruining the game or ruining house rules. But if there is a coin glitch or a method, it's fixed by the time you put out a video. So much that you're not putting these videos out anymore. And it's like, You can fix it, something that's ruining gameplay or something there. Or sometimes they have to create workarounds. And I hate that a multi-billion-dollar company ever talks about workarounds, okay? When I'm doing my job as a professional and I go on air, I can't be like, hey, boss, I need a workaround today because I don't feel like I want to say this guy's name the correct way. No, I get penalized if I don't say Giannis Antetokounmpo in the correct way. If I can't learn how to say Antetokounmpo in the correct way, I'm going to be fired or I'm going to be reprimanded, or it's something I can't keep getting away with. I can't be like, yeah, find the workaround to call him the forward. Hey, the forward from Milwaukee's doing great, right? I got to say Antetokounmpo. There are no workarounds. So I'm not in love with the idea of the workarounds. I understand sometimes it has to be there, but I don't like the laziness. And I would hope that they're staffed. And I appreciate that you're open-minded. Sometimes you say, hey, man, maybe they're understaffed. Maybe some of these things are harder. So I think that the communication and for us to be able to work with EA rather than against us for a game that we love, because a lot of us still play this and grind this because we love it. Like, dude, when Madden's not going right, I'm an irritable person. And I don't like that. Like, no joke, I was joking with G Maya, and I had to go to the hospital, and like, I went to the hospital. I'm getting older, right? This is something they're like, your blood pressure is high. I'm like, I've never had high blood pressure. I'm an athlete, okay? I played 10 years in the NBA. What's going on? They're like, Wednesday, your blood pressure is high. Well, what happens? Wednesdays, I sit at home and play Madden. My blood pressure was through the roof. And it's like, oh my God, this game is killing me, dude. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's stuff like that where it's like, you guys don't get complacent because we love this. We love this game and we'll fight you over it.
Yeah, that's actually hilarious. Like, that's one of the reasons why, like, I heard, like, Zerk was on the podcast. He said he's actually, like, you know, whatever about Weekend League going away because that, like, his doctor told him that he was having, like, ill health effects from playing Weekend League every weekend. So, like, forcing someone to play 25 games a Weekend League in one weekend was, like, detrimental to our entire community's health. We were going to have, like, people having, like coronaries at age, like, 29. Like, Zerk, yeah. So... yeah, it's absolutely frustrating, and we all know it. We all have that problem. Like, how much of that like frustration is due to Madden errors versus like, you know, people get worked up at every single online multiplayer game. So like, how much is that like, what percentage of that like anger is just from playing an online game against somebody, and you know, everybody just wants to win, right? Like, you're a huge competitor. How much of
Well,
percentage is it from that versus just like the glitches that freak you out?
it's both because, we're not completely insane. We're insane because we love the game and we're just going to keep playing it no matter what. But we're not completely insane to when you realize I can't stop a rollout corner. And then finally you go, I need to learn how to do rollout corners. And me and G would talk about this every day. You just better cave in and do a rollout corner. Like, whatever the meta is, sometimes you have to roll with it. And I appreciate this year because I think it's like the less I've seen bunch in a while. And like, I think that's like pretty cool to see in terms of you just got to roll with it. But I think there's some years a lot falls on EA, and sometimes it's just the game. And I think there's a level where if you're a serious gamer, you're putting hours into the game, you need to find out what's working and what's not, and then you need to build around it. And then you need to make that scheme original to your own and what you're doing. So if you're receivers, you better get a tall receiver. If it's a shorter receiver, you better get quicker than Tyreek Hill's. You gotta roll with it. And then
You're kind of breaking up right now. You're kind of breaking up right now, Ryan. You're kind of breaking up. I don't know if are you going in a tunnel?
Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Have a good day. How about now? I don't have great service by the house. How about now? I'm gonna.
Okay, you're good right now.
Wi-Fi pretty soon.
Okay.
Okay. But if a low ball go route was just cheese, it wasn't for the game. That's the game's fault, bro.
Yeah.
Like that needs to be fixed, or you need an ability acrobat that's gonna go out and play it. All right, and do it. And we saw Henry win a lot of money on 3rd and 20 throwing a wheel route. You know what I'm saying? Henry won a lot of money on 3rd and 20. That's how confident he was. He ran a wheel route with the cojones on the line. You know what I'm saying? So I think that needed to be. I think that needed to be fixed and addressed. And I think EA did it in the next year. But we have no idea, and neither do they sometimes, what the glitches in the game are going to be. I would challenge EA to do more testing. Okay, if I'm Volkswagen and I'm going to put out a new car,
We lost you. Wait,
every single angle because people's lives are on the line. So I do challenge EA to do so much more testing of the game, and that's something that I think has been missing in Madden, and that's why you see these glitches. Or hey, when the beta comes out, and I've heard you say this, Gut, we should be playing that beta unlimited, okay? Because it's very restricted, and they should be able to get as much data as they can and see, okay, what are these guys doing? What's the meta? What's overpowered? What can we just not stop?
Yeah, the fact they don't allow us to broadcast or make content on it is a major L, because that we can get videos and show them what's going on, what's wrong. Why is baseline dollar? I literally mentioned that multiple times. Baseline dollar in the beta was insane, and now we see this months later. We still haven't been able to figure out how to stop corners off the edge getting picked up in the tackle. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on with EA right now, and the continued business practices are kind of ruining the game. Talking about their business practice though, I'm gonna transition into the out of position promo. What do you feel about out of position players? Do you care at all that they're the best players in the game, or do you want to have more current day players, as the stars instead of just made up cards?
So I'm gonna err on the side of just saying I'm gonna take all of the cards that I can, because I think it's good for the game from a guy that came over from playing regs. But I also do understand, Calvin Johnson did play free safety, so we got to kind of do that, or JJ Watt did catch a pass at tight end, right? True. But listen, I'm a glutton for it. I'm gonna have Ted Hendricks playing strong safety. I'm gonna have Calvin playing corner or whatever. I'm a glutton for it. I love it because I'm 7 feet. For some reason, I love tall people. I love to dunk on you, okay? That's my thing. Obviously, I'm going to do it. But there is to a level where it gets cheesy, and you got to find that fine level where it is a video game. That's where people get obsessed. And those who don't understand, there are people who just like the cheesy, I'm going to play a video game like a video game, and then you get these, and forgive me if I'm offending anybody, then you get these former high school football players that think they're playing real football. And MUT is not real football. So you don't
What?
want to get.
What?
But
I'm
here's the
pissed.
thing. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Forgive me if I offend. It's a video game, but you want to be some like I don't want to see Pollard trucking my 300-pound lineman. Okay, that's not realistic. But I don't mind. I love the out of position promo. I'm all with it because I'm a guy who's gonna come out with like a 7-foot football team. Okay, I'm gonna abuse it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna abuse it, and I think that's the goal of MUT. But I just don't want to get too wild. But like, they're the people that will go and play like a 15-minute quartered game and say like, hey, your running back should average 3 yards because that's real football. If you want that, go play another game mode. And my frustration, I will say to EA, is I thought that comp Madden was going to be one thing, and then you're going to have arcade Madden for the fun guys, and then another level, you know. And I think that they have to do a better job of ingratiating those comp guys who want to play those realistic football games on one mode, the sim guy, whatever they're called. And then you got the guys like me who just want to do some weird stuff and play online. Okay, like I'm the guy, like you said, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get Howie Long, caveman, and I'm having my guys light up and I'm trying to blitz you every down. Okay, so I'm gonna come out and do some weird stuff. And I think that you got to play the game the way that it's meant to be played. You can't make Madden into something else. And it's Madden's job not to get too crazy and out of line. I'm somewhere in between, if that answers your question. But I'm the guy you're going to play and you're going to hate because I'm going to dunk on you and I'm going to have 7', 6'8", football players out in places where they shouldn't be.
Yeah, and EA's tried that, right? They've tried arcade football with their, superstar KO, with their yard and stuff. They've tried a little bit of that and generally failed, right? I feel like
Yeah.
arcade mode should be the house rules. The only issue with house rules right now is that the rewards aren't really up to snuff, and they're trying to increase, or decrease the number of wins needed for DK coming tomorrow versus the last one. But like that should have a place in Madden, like the arcade style
Yes.
of football that's more fun, just throwing it up. But then there obviously should be sim, and they got to make it more sim with penalties. All those things should be there for franchise folks. And then you're right about competitive too, right? And they try to go and help with like, do you play all Madden or all pro online head to head?
I play all pro unless I'm matching up with like a friend. And my understanding, because I used to be the hardcore, it's all Madden or don't count. It's all Madden. If we playing for money, we're playing all Madden. I was that guy, and I kind of went to all pro in the sense because my understanding is that all pro is the ideal way that the game was tailored to be played. I'm not a pro, so I don't play for money. If I played for money, I'd be just only on all Madden. Shout out to the team because finally practice mode is in the game. Finally, that all
Yeah.
Madden mode is in the game because if I'm a pro, I want to get reps at what I'm going to play or like how I'm going to win a belt. So I don't mind all Madden, but I just play all pro. But I used to like my ego was in all Madden for a long time, and I realized all pro is tuned the way the game is supposed to play. So I play on all pro now, but I'm not opposed to either.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'm just wondering how towards the comp scene you are with your whatever. So like they are trying to cater towards the comp scene, and they gotta fix the leaderboards and all Madden and actually make it like an elo based leaderboard
Yes.
with like people ranked number 1, number 2, number 3, like so on, so you can see who the number 1 rank is with obviously elo decay and all that stuff. They need to like fix that to make it actually like legitimately something to grind for them, to give them that passion, that need. And I've talked to that like last week with Skimbo and a few weeks ago with Problem and whatnot. So like there's plenty of things they can still do, like a lot of other games have done correctly with their comp scenes and stuff. And it does, I will say like, EA does have a tough job ahead of them, but I mean that's what the money is for, is to do these tough jobs because they have so many different audiences to cater to. Because like Madden is in essence people playing this game because the NFL is popular. And they a lot of people get it to run the franchise, to play it casually with their friends, right? They got the franchise, the 32-man online leagues. People play MUT because it's fun to build the roster of all-time teams, to grind it up, and see your team improve through the year. So like I feel they got a tough job, but like, you know, like I said, a lot of game companies have tough jobs. So we can't really like, you know, let them have that excuse, but it feels
Yes.
like they kind of like rely on that a little bit too much. But like overall, like how do you feel with like like the out of positions? You like the tall guys, obviously. You don't really care. You're not too much of like a sim gamer, I guess. But like, how do you feel like the winter promo is so far? Like, what about presents? Like, we're just getting like generic presents coming tomorrow. Like, they actually label what they are. There's no hints. Do you think Kralo was the last, like, you know, finger in the dam holding back, you know, the coolness of the presents or something? Like, why have they kind of like we can't even quick sell presents to roll for XLs anymore? It feels like the game's becoming less fun. Is that true or what?
NFL, dude, no fun league. Like, I mean, what more do you expect? Like it's no fun league. Remember when guys used to celebrate in the NFL and they'd mess around and like get penaltied and you
They
can't
still
do.
do.
Yeah, right.
They jumped in that pot for that charity and they got fined like tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, like, I mean, I'm joking there, but here's the reality. Like, I hate when they're taking away something that was fun, because maybe I'm not great at the game, but I'm a market guy. So when you take away my chance to win money in the market or do things or like just doing, grinding out the little house rules or whatever, getting a card and putting that card into a set and making 75 extra coin. Like, did that really hurt you that much? Like, did that hurt you that much? Like, I hate that it's like, it's so Scrooge like. And if we realize from, you know, like you said, what, Madden 2016 to Madden now, how much money they've taken out the game. And I'm glad they made their money, because they need to make the money to make the game. But like last year got to the point where like I just felt so disrespected, bro. I felt disrespected, and I'm not a guy. I was no money spent for a long. They forced me to spend money, bro. And I was like disrespected by that, because it's like, reward me for being good at the game. Like, don't make me do some insane stuff. And I think there's a give and take there, because like you said, it is a business, and someone gets paid a lot of money that goes in and says, hey, I'm the economist and I made us, you know, $75 more million. But you're sending guys like me and a couple other people who are young with bad blood pressure to the hospital. Like it's frustrating and it's disappointing. And I think like there's an element where it is a business, it should be there. And I think like the people who spend money, tax them over the head. But the people who don't spend money, give us an angle where we can be no money spent. Add things in. You know what I'm saying? Or like, hey, where's our representative? Or like, hey, like you mentioned Criello. Like, it was so funny, the running thing that you had with him. And then like the fact that like he'd mention you during stream without mentioning you, like I just found that like hilarious. And I was like,
MUT commentator.
He was
MUT pundit.
Yeah. I was like, he's definitely watching the videos, and like I love that. But it's like, let's have a healthy, and shout out TJ who does a great job. But TJ, we can't be mad at him, because by no means does he know what's going on behind the scenes. Okay, young algae crumpler in the house. Shout out to TJ. But like, from our standpoint, give us some form of communication. That has to grow. That has to be better. You know, if it's the game changer program, if it's somebody on the pro side, somebody on the competitive head-to-head side, and then the best 5 people from the head-to-head, the best 5 content creators, the best 5 pros. Because the problem that happens, Gut, somebody from the regular everyday community speaks up and they make a big change depending on that. Or somebody like Joke from the pro community speaks up and they change because what Joke speaks. Somebody should be represented from each class. If I'm a franchise guy, I should be represented in a game changer program. If I'm a pro guy, those pros should be represented in a pro program about what's realistic and what's best for the game. But when a pro guy or a head-to-head guy or a game changer guy or whatever, a sim guy makes a decision for everybody, you screw the game over. He's happy, but everybody else is screwed. And that's, I think, a big problem that we're falling into.
Well, the issue a lot of times is like it's not that there's not like enough feedback, right? The problem is, one, you're right, who they listen to, and 2, they know the issues, they just don't do them, right? Or they don't do them quickly because of the effort it takes. And a lot of times they'd rather sit around talking about like, you know, what NFL game they're going to go to this weekend and put on the rating adjuster vest and then, you know, have fun being on the sidelines. It's like, Okay, you don't need to do all that stuff. I get it's basically like a vacation perk of the job, but like they're working, so the company will pay for it, quote unquote. But like, spend that time in the goddamn fucking studio working on the code and or just like doing something better for the game, because obviously the rating adjusters don't really. It's just marketing and stuff. But like, I don't know. It just feels like there's so many things that take so long to do them, but like they're so obvious. And we see them react to certain things like within like a couple minutes, right? Like you said earlier, coin making methods.
Yes.
And then other things
Yes.
like the quick sell took about how many weeks was it since quick sell was in the game? And like they fixed it within, like, literally changed our binders twice within 40 minutes. And then it took them 2 weeks to finally fix the mistake. Why didn't they fix it all within like an hour and a half? Right?
They're severely underfunded, and that's what I believe. But I feel like, you know what? If they say that to a degree, even if you just said we're trying our best. Okay, so I used to own a restaurant, right? I was a part owner of a restaurant, and you want to know the biggest thing that I had in the restaurant business that I figured out? Customer service.
Yeah.
I will go to a place with okay food, but they treat you like a king or like a queen every night of the week. You want to know why you'll go? Because they treat you good. The food is okay, but they treat you amazing.
Explain Popeyes then.
Well, I guess that sandwich blew up, man. The sandwich went viral, dude. Obviously, like,
they'll fight you.
Yeah. That fight was crazy, by the way. I think I watched it about 200 times, but like, no, like, the customer service is everything, dude. And I think that just like we're trying, we hear you, we get your feedback. Like, we hear your feedback on the RPO glitch. We hear, like, it got to the point. Listen, I got to confess, I RPO glitched last year. And I said, screw it. That's what you guys want. I'm doing it. And there was a way to stop RPO glitches, but I did it. Like, I did it against Rag 6. And the funniest thing was watching him cuss me out on stream, and we've been boys ever since. But like, I did it. Like, it's in the game. But it's like, dude, let us know we know this and we're trying it. And I'm gonna say something on stream too. I'm gonna put this out and we'll see if somebody does it. That little the gun deuce close is still in the game. You know that, right?
Yeah, they recently repatched it to be back in the game. Yeah.
Yeah. All you have to do is audible into it and you can still do that crap. And it's like, is it that hard? And if it is, tell us. Tell us we're trying. We understand this and we're trying.
One of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen for EA just happened to them. The reveal stream for the practice mode. It was like, oh my god, they're bringing practice mode in here, something we've been asking in MUT for years. And then RG revealed you can't use 2 controllers on it. And then literally when they launched it, the community figured out within an hour of how to get 2 controllers working.
Yes.
And I'm like, how can you look at the camera straight after that, right? Like, how the hell is your game that poorly tested that we basically figured it out like the first time they went in practice about how to get 2 controllers active, and like you're like they ruined the announcement by saying they can't have 2 controllers active because that's what you need in practice mode a lot of times, and then oh wait, it actually worked. And like, how the hell are you gonna show up to your work and like believe your coworkers about like what you're trying to announce on stream going forward? It's so like I just can't put into words how absolutely like mind-blowing that was for me.
You got to build the game from scratch almost, because the big fear also is they go in to patch something and the whole thing just shuts down, bro. Like, they
like
don't
franchise mode right now.
Yeah, they don't understand the system, and that's why we talk about being severely underfunding. Like, you got to strip that thing down and you got to run it from the beginning, or somebody comes up with a bright idea. And I like it because you got to innovate and says, we're going to have locomotion in the game, realistic movement, or we're going to have this and this. And then it screws up something else because it's all code. But hey, you know what? Spend a couple extra $100,000, go get these kids from Google, from Facebook, from wherever who know it, and figure the code out. It's some 14-year-old kid, okay, that can code this game correctly right now.
Chap, wait, are you advocating for child labor? Whoa, that's a hot take.
No. I'm advocating.
The children yearn for the mines.
I know. I appreciate that. I'm advocating that you can spend the money and get this fixed.
Oh yeah.
You can
Oh,
spend
yeah.
the money and do it. And you may have to go and get somebody who's not a Madden person that does Madden. So I used to go behind the scenes and go up to 2K, go to Madden, go and talk to these people. And the reason that 2K was superior for a long time compared to all the other games is that you had a guy, I forget his name, he understood coding. In fact, he came over from if I'm not mistaken, the Air Force. Don't quote me on any of this. I'm just generalize with me. And he worked on fighter planes. But he also had a love for basketball and understood basketball. So long story short, he understands the zeros and the ones, which is code for those who don't understand, and he understood the game. Because the problem is the people who are doing the zeros and the ones don't know jack about football. And we're asking them to simulate a corner route or a contain or something like that, and they don't get it. So you got to find somebody who speaks both languages. Like we said, what are we're coming back to? Got communication, bro. So the communication between the coding. So you got to spend money for that guy who knows real football and plays it. Because Clint played football, but Clint may not be good at Madden. Clint may not know what coding is. So Clint is going to give you what he knows, but he doesn't understand what he's doing. And Clint could just be the face of the company that's getting, with all due respect, he's going to get the slander, where it's somebody behind him making all those calls and making all those decisions. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing but communication at the end of the day.
Is it kind of like a couple points to make here? It's kind of like that one guy from Office Space that's like, no, I communicate with the customers because the developers can't work with the customers, and they're like, so what do you say you do here? Yeah, it's kind of like that almost is what you're saying with Clint or somebody else to communicate between the two. But I also want to talk about, like, Roboto made a really good point. To just hire the people who keep updating NCAA football mods each year. A lot of game companies just do that. They see people doing incredible work. They're like, all right, you want to come work for us? Like, you literally do this incredible job. And like, and how much of these problems are also like, because EA is a big bureaucracy, and obviously we see them buy back like $1 billion worth of stock every year, where they could literally put that into their games and make them way better. They can make way more games, and obviously the stock market doesn't give a shit about EA's strategy of buying back their stock, because their stock hasn't fucking moved, even over like the biggest bull run in the stock market history of the last like 7 years or whatever it was. So like, okay, that along with like, you know, so that they're underfunded. And then, like, a lot of people, like, either don't play Madden, or maybe they know football, but they don't know Madden, and they're having problems there. So, like, the jump to conclusions, Matt, thank you, I just read that in chat, that guy kind of got distracted. So, like, there's so many solutions they can have, and I don't know, it's so frustrating to look at it from the outside and see how much money they're getting, but the lack of commitment and resources towards the game mode is just there. So, like, my dream, truly, and you're talking about rewriting the code, and this is, like, you know, I started talking about this, like, 5 years ago, or whatever, like, NCAA football, so that got delayed a summer. That's not coming out next summer. It's coming out the summer after. My dream was for them to write the football code, the engine, from the ground up for NCAA, and then Madden use that code the next year, since it's already there. They don't have to do anything else. Well, they obviously have to translate it to pro game, like you have to move the hash marks closer or whatever. But it, like, that would have been my dream. I like it sucks because it feels like, I don't know if that's what they're doing. Is that why they had to delay it? Did they have to rewrite everything? I don't know, but we haven't heard anything about that. Obviously, EA is notoriously, like, you know, they're not open. They don't have, like, a Trello board like a lot of other companies do. But, like, why didn't they do something like that? Why don't they?
I mean, listen, I think that's genius what you said, because I think what we're getting to is that it's a broken system. And what happens is, we're recapping, when you fix one thing, you break another one. And the one thing that we really don't have lenience for is that just simple things with the auction house or stuff break the system, or people are getting banned for using something they encouraged us to use, which is the app. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's genius what you're saying. You got to build it from the ground up, and they got to put in the correct funding, dude. Like, they have to do that, because it's broken. And the reality is, and I'm going to credit G for this. G always said this. He said, you're the problem. Gut, you're the problem. Ryan, you're the problem, because you're going to still keep playing the game. And we are going to play the game, but we just ask for some efforts. Okay, we're like we're the wife that keeps getting cheated on and keeps staying. It's your fault for staying. Okay, like like you are the problem. You know what I'm saying? And it's not until you leave, like, hey, that pack strike finally hit their pockets. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying, like, you got to take a stand on what you're gonna do, or like, hey, man, like a couple of people stop playing, like, and it sucks because no one wants to leave Madden. Like, we love this game, and I think there's a fine line too, where a lot of the OGs in the game have been pushed out. And shout out to RG because, you know, like RG gets it. He's been around, but there's a new wave of audience they're after. There's a new wave of coding. There's a new style of game that they want that's not listening to the, like, I don't think you ever lose the integrity of Madden. And I think that's something key that needs to be there. And I think that I appreciate, like, even just something simple now, like a tall guy playing like he's tall and everybody's losing their mind. Now, my problem also is freeform passing, because it's like getting a green on 2K and you can't miss. And that should not be in the NFL. It should be just your hand movement doing what it's supposed to be doing, because that freeform changes the game. That freeform needs to be taken out. And it gets irritating because every year they got to come with some genius add-on or addition to the game. And it's like, don't mess up something that you didn't need to mess up, you know? And now you create somewhat of a bad product. But to come full circle,
wait.
funding.
Can you talk? What's wrong with Freeform? I think it's pretty cool. Well, if rack animations were better.
Okay,
but I think
here's the
Freeform.
Nice. The rack animations are better, but that's where these ags are coming from. The ags are coming from the freeform passing, on top of having tall guys. So I feel like freeform is a
high
problem.
Point passing or high points or freeform?
High point with the freeform is these ags. Yeah, you got, when you do both and you get a green, it's like 2K. And if you played a pro player, they laugh and joke and go, "I'm just gonna ag you," and they could do it all game long. I'm not sure if you saw Slim Ghost. I forget who was in the championship. It was like it was Spam, and there was somebody before the championship, and they just agged each other down the field. That agging with the freeform passing and a tall player it's out of control. And I love mossing people. But you had to get in position, you had to throw the ball a certain way, you had to angle them, and now it's just getting a green like shooting a jump shot on 2K. And that, to me, that's a major problem in the game. Gosh, I forget who was playing, but yeah, that freeform becomes a problem, not for what you're using it for, getting a rack animation. It becomes a problem when you're just throwing it up mindlessly into the end zone.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's on freeform. My biggest problem with the high point egg situation is the defenders just don't react properly, right? They just watch somebody, you know, they don't jump, they don't react, they don't sweep out the leg like they should. If somebody's jumping up for a ball, you just take out their legs generally, and then they like that animation. The fact that doesn't trigger more often is kind of frustrating with the high point eggs. But there are ways of shutting it down apparently. What's up?
Well, let me correct you with this. So these are two things that I want to take out. My problem with the freeform is the user ability to go and play it. So swap ball has been completely nerfed. And we used to laugh at people, me and G Maya, we moss people, and we say, like, all you have to do is go click on and swap ball. People wouldn't click on and swap ball or go for the pick themselves. So what I do to stop the ags, and it's still not like ag proof, it's funny a lot, and you'll see this when Calvin Johnson comes out, and there's a reason Calvin is probably going to be a corner now. Woolen. I play Woolen with pick artist and deep out. And he's going to pick off 70% of your ags. Now, he has been agged before, but because of his height and when you put those abilities on him, he picks it off. And I assume Calvin Johnson will play the same. So having to put a taller player out there is kind of a part of the game to stop those ags. So that's big. And early on in the game, I played Randy Moss at corner, and I gave him pick artist, and he couldn't get agged. So, like, you got to play a guy 6'4" or better if you're tired of getting agged, or maybe just have one of them on your team that'll go over and make the play. But that 6'4" guy with a deep out and pick artist, or like a pick artist, will actually animate. And like, why take out swap ball? Because swap ball used to give you a really good, animation.
Yeah, I think, like, clicking on this year against a lot of eggs, I just stopped doing it because it consistently gave me bad animations even when I tried to slot. But apparently, like, what I heard last week from Skimbo was a competitor, I forgot who he said it was, basically found the solution for eggs, which is click on, slam down the left thumbstick, and then swat, and that's how he was able to stop it. But basically, with Megatron coming out, with Ted Hendricks, you could probably just move in a corner there too. You probably just, like you said, you could just let them pick the ball normally with their oh, it was Wes. Yeah, it was Wes. Thank you guys. So like there are more counters, and I do feel like the last patch.
I'm telling you, Woolen. No one wants to spin that 3 AP. He picks the stuff off, bro. He gets some of the craziest animations I've seen, Gut. He gets like almost like acro animations on corner routes. He does wild stuff, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say as of recently, I got egged in double coverage, and I remember it, which means it's kind of like it's happened to me less lately.
Yes.
It has happened to me less lately. So that it's not nearly as bad as when Donald Parham was running everywhere at the start of the game. Or like when we first saw eggs take over. It's not like they're gone or anything, but it's at least happening less often.
And don't get me wrong, like if it's man coverage and it's one-on-one, you should be getting agged, bro, right? But if you're sitting in your cover 4 and then the guy just mindlessly throws it, it's like, come on, dog. Like there's a balance with it. We're saying the same.
No, I would agree with you. Yeah, definitely. Like if you're in man and like the guy's got to step on you or whatever, or like something, yeah. I think like man is very overpowered, and I know that's the reason the devs are saying we're keeping eggs in the game is because of man's overpowered. Like I'm like, why don't you just make man not psychic and overpowered? Like wouldn't that be a better solution than to keeping eggs in the game? Because both those things can be true, and you can solve both those problems with an update to your game.
Yeah, you're right. And I'll say this, like the tall players have played well as far as stopping the ags, but I get frustrated with the freeform because even Woolen is going to get agged, and I can tell when it was green. And he should be the perfect player until Megatron comes out to not be ever agged. He's 6'4", he can jump. He got I think 95 maybe a threshold for the jumping, and he can go and take stuff out. So like, hey, like like it's not for me. Or like you said, you're not getting agged as much. I just run around with a bunch of 6'3" plus guys, but I think 6'4" is where they actually go and get you like an animation to play it. 6'4" with the 95 jump.
I think I've had some decent luck lately. I think like Ty Law, even though he's short, because his change of direction is so big, I feel like he's been one of my better defenders. I don't know. I think change of direction is almost underrated in this game. For how important it is. So like that's the one thing about Megatron. They gave him like 88 agility. I hope they didn't screw his change of direction over. So that's one thing about Megatron and Hendricks is the fact that they won't be able to stop and start because a lot of people wait for you guys to turn and they can't animate back. Whereas like guys that might be able to do that, especially with deep route KO or deep zone knockout, it might be a little different, and I don't know. We'll see how they play tomorrow. Like if they do give him low change of direction, I think you're gonna hear a lot of people talk about how bad Megatron is. Even though we all agree that Megatron should be really good for stopping eggs, could be something where he just doesn't turn around and he can't kind of get to the balls and a lot of things, especially like streak corner out combos that Ty Law sometimes gets near, at least with the ability.
Well, I'll give you this. Like I used to play like Mike Haynes. Obviously for the abilities, and I'm still Raider team. I didn't, cave in yet and go, full legend.
Really?
All Madden. Yeah, and Haynes gets mossed, bro. But Woolen literally, like, it's something. Now, let me know if anybody in the stream can see it. What is Woolen's agility or change of direction? Because I'm telling you, he makes the craziest plays, dude. And I remember
I'm looking it up right now.
I had Randy Moss. Randy would bite back and literally take away corner routes. Now, obviously, you can catch if you got a straight corner combo going at him, but like he made crazy plays. And I think like I can't be mad at this. If Calvin plays zone great but can't play man, we can't say anything. Because if he just does his job, I think that's what we ask. And where we talked about earlier, rock, paper, scissors. Hey, man, he ain't going to play man, but he's going to play zone well. He might get routed up, but, like, if you throw it in his area, he's going to go and pick it off. But, like, I'm telling you, dude, Woolen is a monster. But it's like, do I want to spend 3 AP for deep out and pick artists? And that's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, you love some Woolen. Do you have like a picture of him above your bed right there that you stare at every night now? We're hearing a lot about the love of Woolen here, but no, I agree. Those extra 2 inches that he's got over Haynes. Woolen does have slightly better acceleration and agility, but Haynes has them +1 on change of direction. So I don't know what it could be at that point. Yeah, like somebody in chat mentioned maybe running strides too. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll just have to take it out on the field if there's some sort of like animation based things with some players that get better long, because we know that's a running styles are absolutely in the game. So maybe that might just be a thing that's true.
Well, it's funny too. Like that's why Dave Casper was so good for so long. And like even if you wanted to, other than the AP, you could still use him. Like someone who can catch and run is something. Or like, like Gut, I experiment and I do a lot of weird stuff. So, what's funny is on a smoke screen, I have JJ Watt in. Why? Because JJ Watt can block and I do weird stuff, right? When you throw the ball to JJ Watt on the smoke screen, there is like no, how do I put it? There's no lag time with him. There's no delay. He just catches and sprints upfield faster than anybody. But if I throw the ball to an actual wide receiver, he won't do it. Or like, I experimented with Eric Dickerson, right? And I gave Eric Dickerson short in and I put him on a good route, right? And had him run a corner route. He would catch the ball and just run upfield with no animation, with no delay when he beat somebody on a corner. Now he can get his mind pressed out, but I was still with the right route. He was beating man easily with that short end. And like he was making crazy plays. He's just not tall enough to make it on my field. But like, certain players out of position, they don't get those rack penalties or like delays. And one thing that people have to realize in the game is the way that they nerf routes, they just slow them down. Remember when corner routes were unbelievable? It's because they were so fast. So the way that they nerf routes, that's why corner routes are so good. They're still fast. Those post routes and skinny posts, they just slow them down. So again, it's an example of lazy coding where instead of letting the route be what it is, they just slow it down. And that's why you got to get the fastest possible player just to run the route the same way, or even slant routes. Remember, slant routes forever have been just blazing fast. Slant routes are slow as hell now. So like that's a big difference in the game. And that's why when I start the year, I run wing tight for dummies, because the tight end on a crosser shoots out of a cannon. It's the speed of the routes, and that's why these corners are good, if that makes sense. So EA actually has done a decent game of balancing the routes out, but it's something you may just want to tinker with, putting a halfback in or putting in a out-of-position tight end or somebody without a catching stat. He may get those catches without a delay, because on the right route, short end is still short end, bro. And that short end is going to burn whatever he's going against. Now, the only thing I didn't like about Dickerson is he wouldn't break a tackle, because I'm doing weird. I want to go bruiser. I want to run you over after I get the catch and just do something crazy. But he wasn't able to do so.
Really, you wouldn't have a lot of luck with Dickerson. That's strange. Dickerson wasn't terrible for me. I didn't mind him. Yeah. So you're saying like tight ends even at like, so you're saying just put tight ends at like wide receiver and they run like better routes?
Well, no. I'm saying for some reason, and you can go lab this if you want. I run my my open bunch, right? My open bunch open or whatever, bunch open tight end, and I make a smoke route with JJ Watt on the edge because he's normally my blocker. But when I throw him the ball in that smoke route, he just takes off upfield, okay, before anybody can stop him. But if I have an actual wide receiver there, he doesn't do it. Now, I don't know if it's because he doesn't have catching stats. I don't know if because he's out of position. I don't know what the deal is. So it may just be something to lab and just like fool around with. But like as far as the routes, you gotta tinker with it, because the route is everything. 90% of Madden is the plays. The players are one thing. The playbook, the plays that you run are everything. Then it's players, and then it's the player. Where back in the day, it used to be about the user. The user could make anything work. You could throw a 3-yard pass, and you could juke your way upfield if your stick was that nice. It's not the game anymore. It's the play, then it's the players, and then it's the player.
I don't know. I will agree with you. The plays matter the most, and then I'd say player executing the play, and then players on the field to help you execute a little bit better?
I get you.
That's a good question. Actually,
I mean, if I could afford a team and go stretch and streak and run cover 3, that was a thing a couple years ago. So I get it. The player has to make reads. Like, that's true. But, like, when you're just – like, I could go out and guard you and just go man with a juiced-up team, and if you don't have players, I'm going to dog you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like,
that's
there's
true.
a level where
you need the ability.
play. But, like, we're on the same page. But, like, remember back in the day, I used to play my boys. I'd get the Claymores, and I would have the best – they could have the best team, the Patriots, whoever, and I'd beat them with the Claymores. For those who don't know, Madden used to have the old, like the English teams in there or whatever, and I'd get them, and I had a right play, and my play would get open all the time, and I'd beat whoever you had because it was just I found the right play. You know what I'm saying? So
I thought you were bringing like
it's the mix of the play.
I thought you were bringing like Call of Duty Claymores into Madden. I'm like, what the hell? How'd you get a crossover? Activision hasn't been bought, have they?
No,
that
wasn't the
Claymore from COD.
Wasn't it like right? No. Wasn't
like
the
a big old
Claymores
sword from like the medieval times.
Oh my god! But wasn't it like the Claymores and the Admirals, something like that? Like we're talking OG
I think
Madden,
so.
bro.
The fake teams. Or is that the NFL Europe teams?
Yes, they were in the game. They were really low rated. And then remember when the Panthers and the Jaguars came out and they were like, you had to put in the code, and they were both 99 overall. Like, dude, I've been playing the game for a minute, dude.
Yeah, I actually do remember that. You just unlocked a memory I hadn't thought of it in years. Whoa, holy crap.
Yeah, no, full 99s. But I just, for me, I like to tinker around and just find some different stuff. I'm very off meta, you know, like I've always been that. And like, there's a level where I appreciate that it's not always bunch, but I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day. I want to know how you feel about this. I'm torn in the sense that I got to run a tight set just to beat man. And if I'm not in a tight set, I don't have kind of like man beaters out there, because that short end only really works from the tight sets, or it's a C route, which is you can pretty much bag with the deep blue. So do you like kind of that short end is the only way to beat man, or like there's not really a lot of like
no.
Okay.
God no. No, hell no. Yeah, I think it's terrible. Yeah.
Or like route tech just being completely nerfed. Like, but are we saving us from ourselves? Like, is that you know what I'm saying? Like, should route tech just be good?
What do you mean? Should route tech just be like why not? When you talk about rock paper scissors, route tech should work against man coverage because that's what we pay for.
Okay. Well, do you think, because we honestly, like, if anybody ran man against you for years, you would laugh and it was a joke. And then I remember you showed the meta, you know, I mean, I'm not just crediting you in full, but saying like, hey, you know, shade up and shade out. And it's funny, Joke was actually doing that the year prior, and people were running man that was just bagging everything. Like, do you think man is good for the game, or is it bad for the game where you can just put your controller down and just go and just do some just stupid stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah. I think it's like having the computer play Madden for you is terrible for the game.
Yeah, and what happens is, and I think I agree with you, I don't like when man is good, but it's like it becomes kind of pay for play. Or like, you know what? Yeah. Like, if you're going to be able to run man, you better be smart as heck, bro. Like, you better like be just almost anticipating the guy's play before it happens, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I there needs to be man beaters. Like, slants don't beat man a lot of times in this game. Sometimes they do. I think the worst thing about man is that it's inconsistent. Yes. Sometimes you'll have like 5 guys open on the play, and the next time there's 0 players open on that same play.
Well, yeah.
With like the same shade, everything.
I think the frustrating thing for me is I want to stay in that open bunch tight end just because it just nerfs dollar. But I've been getting my face pressed in, and I tried, like you said, that deep out. I mean, the short out, and the short out didn't work. And it's maybe because where I'm running my route from, and the reason I run that bunch open is because it's an easy tell if it's man or zone. And like, hey, if you got 3 idiots on that side, I just run the ball, or I know it's man, or like, you know, like it just becomes a very, very easy read. Or if you run that cover 2, I just throw the ball to the guy and I throw the screen every time and go up the field until you get out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Are you running fades or streaks? I learned yesterday it doesn't work on fades. I went back and tested it. It's only streaks.
Well, I have a corner Oh, so you're saying you have to make an actual streak. See, I didn't lab that. And like the thing, like you said, I have a second controller, but I'm like, all right, do I want to take like I'm weird. I lab in the game. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
maybe I got to try it again and just make a streak. But it was like, yeah, it was super irritating because yeah, I played Waller because he could do that. So now I literally had to put Randy Moss in that position to just go ahead and beat man. But like, yeah, I do
If you get
weird
if you
stuff.
get
Yeah.
Debo, if you get Debo tomorrow, he gets 0 AP short out. I know he's gonna be kind of expensive, what 500K or whatever. But you can just sub him in too. Like like you can have him as a backup, and then one time if they call him press man, sub in Debo for one play, and then do the streak, and then he should get. So like the press animation will play out, but the short out beats it after the press animation. That's when it lights out
Do
and should
you
beat man coverage,
do
unless they
you
have some
feel
sort of
like
like weird knockout.
Yeah, let me ask this to you. Do you feel like as the year goes on, do you feel, and I love this idea, I feel like whoever's creating the cards and I like abilities, like it's some cool stuff. Do you feel like we're going to get cards that are going to be like, hey, 0 AP, short out, short in? Like, are we just going to get and like you have to pay for it? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think that'll be the big thing is the ability saving? And like, is that good for the game or are you kind of against it?
I don't like it. I mean, here's the thing. Some are fine at 0, but like say they give us like a 0 AP identifier. That lineman's never gonna
Yeah,
leave
yeah,
people's
yeah,
lineup. Like I like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah,
like the
yeah.
fact that you don't have to make a sacrifice. Um you don't have there's no I don't know. I kind of liked it at the start with the discounting AP, like something different. I think discounting AP is fine as long as they don't discount the wrong abilities, right? Like I think any man
Yeah.
coverage ability should not have been discounted, like the knockouts. I'm glad they haven't discounted one step or short or what is it, the inside shade. They haven't discounted either of those really dramatically yet. Those are still 4 to run inside shade. That's completely overpowered. So if they ever start discounting inside shade, this game it just gets even worse. So I think the man knockouts are a terrible discount. They're discounting a bunch of those now, unfortunately. So like, yeah, like it's fine for some of them that like are awful. Like there's no reason acrobats should be fine, right? 5 or whatever. So they
Yeah, yeah,
discounted some
yeah, yeah.
acrobats down to 2, and I feel like certain players that played like Palomalu. He literally was the definition of an acrobat, the most like crazy athletic diving plays I've seen in my entire life on the football field. He should potentially get acrobat for 0 because that's just how he plays. So
Yes.
it's kind of like back to like the old system of like built-in abilities because
Yes.
that's how like they played IRL. So I don't know. I guess with
Okay,
abilities, I'm fine
let
with
me
some
ask
of it.
this real quick. Do you feel like because we talked about Legends Kim and it's realistic, Palomalo was great. Do you feel like they're forcing you into Legends Kim because all the legends
Yeah,
are gonna have the best stuff? Like to me,
yeah.
the actual current NFL players suck because or should they get the juiced abilities so they can actually be usable? Because in all realistic, like LT is gonna get he's going to have every single trait. He's going to play better. He's going to move better because it's LT. But do you feel like the new players should get the ability so they can actually be usable?
Yeah. I like.
Right?
I don't think. Yeah, here's the thing about Legends games. Like it's so easy to get a full Legends team with like backups and everything that even if the new players get the better abilities, you can just start them anyways, right? And then have like the few Legends
Yes.
get it that
Yes.
are getting good abilities. That way. No, I personally hate the Legends cam. It's made the game kind of stale as far as team building. There's no reason to really run a theme team unless they completely juice something out. Like Eagles got like what 4 cards yesterday in Team of the
Do
Week.
you
So like
do you
you're
feel
like,
like
wow,
the
Eagles.
plus one? Do you feel like the plus one in speed that you miss with Legends Cam is of value, or just doesn't matter because of abilities?
It doesn't matter because of abilities.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like if
yeah.
they unnerfed theme teams and went back to speed +3, then you can definitely make the argument for it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So they came out with what are they? The epic or the legendary cards, and they gave like a +1 excel. So you feel like that should have been a +1 excel and speed, so it made people have to go back to theme like regular theme teams, pretty much.
I could see that as a decent way of balancing it. The problem is then the game ends a little bit sooner for some people because people think the game ends when people get 99 speed, which I think is a fair point.
Well,
Um,
Randy has a 99 excel for me and Marcus Allen, pretty much on my team.
that's not
But
bad.
it's only one different, or what, two different. Better yet, with a Legends Cam. So like, is
Yeah,
Excel really worth it? You know what I'm saying?
it's a fair point, a fair question. Yeah, I like. we talk about the way things used to be. I'm glad they changed things up year to year and hopefully learn from some of their mistakes this year and in their chemistries. And the thing is, like, frequently we'll have things in the game for years. We're like, wow, that's a problem, and like they won't react to it. So I just hope they like. My ideal is that they learn from these mistakes. Like, I don't mind the mistakes being made. It's when they keep putting them back into the game that I get a little frustrated.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think like you said, it's the same mistakes, and like, I do.
Yeah, we're starting to lose you.
But it's not someone a gapping you. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think let's also give EA their kudos that like a lot has been taken out, like because when you got a gap or b gap, like it just sucked. Or like if you had to run the nickel blitz, it makes sense because everybody just pinches down so close to the line, and then they just run right in. So let's also give EA their credit because some of those blitzes just made the game, seriously like unplayable. So hats off to EA for a lot of that stuff, or bringing some of those things in, or just like kind of like fixing some of the real bad stuff. I do like abilities, and I think abilities are the way of tuning it. But I think, like you said, like if you're kind of like not like a Raider or like a 49er, or like it just hurts, or like they don't replace, or like okay, like Pickens, what is Pickens, 6'2" or 6'3"? So like even if they give you a 99 Pickens, he's not going to be as good as a 99 Megatron or a 97 Megatron. You know what I'm saying? So I think that like they got to kind of bring the diversity back with the theme teams. And obviously, like I'm sure like having to go Legends Kim, like it's definitely a money grab because they're so expensive. And like, I mean, you got to do it,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree on so much of that. And abilities are a fine way of balancing short guys from tall guys, but they give tall guys like the best abilities too now, just to sell packs on that day. So like, all right. I want to, maybe open it up to more different questions here. What is the most annoying thing as somebody that's 7 feet tall? What's the worst thing about being so tall? Is it people asking questions about like how the weather up there is?
Well, my problem with being 7 feet is the guys that come up, and this happens a lot. Okay. Wow, you're tall. I'm a jerk. Right? If I respond the wrong, wow, you're tall. That's a statement. You're telling me that I'm tall, right?
Thanks, bud. I never knew that.
Right? You don't go to people and say, hey, man, you're fat. Oh, my goodness, you're big. You're tiny. Like, tall is the only thing, and obviously tall is a good thing, so it's not like the same, but it's still like in an irritation level, like, wow, you're tall. Like, nobody wants to like hear that, so that's probably the irritating thing. And like, I'll give you this, like now that I'm retired, so like a lot of people come up to me and they're like, hey man, do you play basketball? Or you play basketball, don't you? Where do you play? I used to get really irritated because I felt like I worked so hard to establish myself as more than a basketball player, right? So now I stopped taking offense because I realized, Gut, one day I'm not going to look like I can play basketball anymore. And people are going to say, you used to play basketball? Where did you play?
Yep.
And then that's going to mean I look bad. So I said, you know what? I appreciate when people ask me where I play. And then I get to say, nah, man, what I say now is I'm too old to play now. And people go, too old? No way. And then it's like a nice compliment, like, you look like you're 20. And I'm like, good, yeah, thank you.
You're right. That is kind of cool. Well, the thing about those is like, it's much more rare to see a 7-footer than a fat person in America, so that's why it's more notable. And then like, yeah, like I'm really just thinking you can be really sarcastic with those comment, like be like, wait, what's basketball? Wait, you're saying you're saying there was a sport that I had an advantage at for being tall? No.
They look at me crazy when I say no. I say, do you play? I say no, I don't. But I also enjoy. Hey, I'm a broadcaster. I do broadcasting, but they look at me like I'm just like some evil person. But yeah, no, I enjoy, I take pride in, having played basketball, use my body to make, a living and being able to, make money with my mind now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a thing.
Hey, so a few questions coming up in chat that are really interesting. Hey, about being an analyst and stuff, do you like ever try and put like a bad take out on television so that way you can get more engagement? Because I do that shit all the time and it works so well. Like what was that? I forgot the guy, Emmanuel Acho or something said that thing about the social media quarterback Justin Herbert. Have you ever thought of like a really good insult like that just to get engagement?
1 second, Gut. Hold on, I'm getting the package. Hold on, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm gonna answer it.
All right.
For me, for one, I work for the Houston Rockets now. So,
So you're
right.
all anti-Harden?
No. I'm work for.
Okay, Ryan.
Hold on
No,
one
but I
second.
mean-
Hollins.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm getting the package. I'm good. Okay. Yeah. So no, I'm pro Harden. We still love James and what he was able to do here. So I don't have to give out any takes. But to answer people when I worked on First Take, or I did that, for one, everything that I said, I stand behind. So I love what I stand behind. But what you do is you put some spice and some flavor behind it. So you could say,
Okay.
hey man, I don't think the Steelers are a good football team. They have a lot they have
What?
to work on. Right?
Let me
could say it
angrily
like that,
tweet you.
right? Or you could say, the Steelers are not a good football team, right? They got stuff they need to work on. And you put passion, so it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And you could say the exact same thing. So on ESPN, when I worked on ESPN, everybody said the same. It's rare that you see a different or unique take. And people try to pride themselves on, having a unique take or whatever, right? So your take came with the delivery. So I haven't said anything, honestly, that's different than what a lot of people say. So some people would, my big thing was they'd say, well, at the time, Giannis Antetokounmpo wasn't the MVP. A lot of people felt that James Harden was the MVP, but it's the way I said what I said. Well, a lot of people think that, okay, Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player of all time. But for me, it was, hey, the way I said LeBron James was the greatest and not Michael, that really set people off. So, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And a lot of people actually, believe or understand the way I do. But, for me, thank goodness now I don't have to give any hot takes. I don't have to say anything crazy. And, you get it. Like, there's a clickbait thing. And, like, I get mad at you sometimes, but I understand it because you'll be like, amazing glitch going on right now. And I'm like, I got to see this. And, like, it'll be not that amazing.
What? No shot. Which amazing glitch was not amazing that I put out?
Dude,
was it that?
Yeah, a couple. But like, I'll look and you'll have some game-changing stuff on there, and I'll be like, "Oh, dang! Like this is different." But I have to tune in anyways. And for those of you who don't understand, that's money. So clickbait means I need you to click on my video and watch it because I get money. Because if I have the most profound thing to say, but what I'm putting out is very regular, you're not going to watch my video. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a true point. That's a true point.
Yeah, it's the clickbait and it's the grab, and it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think that's more so what I was able to master on that side of the media. That's just what the game is, and I hope that answered, whoever's question.
Yeah, so I'm looking at my glitch titles right now. And to be fair, they are glitched, but they're not as insane. There's this one, the only one I put insane next to was to be fair, the only one I put insane next to was the one that was literally printing us free coins all night. I actually ended up, I took the monetization off because it was for members first. The freeze glitch.
Free membership, by the way.
Do I have a free membership? No,
Yeah.
It costs $9.99.
So I thought like when you came on, like as a guest, you got like free membership or whatever, dude.
All right, here. I will send you $10. Okay, I'll send you $10 because I can't grant free memberships to YouTube. I don't think that's a thing.
What about your coin sponsor? Give me some coins. Well, don't say that out loud.
If you would like that, yeah, I can hook you up with that without a doubt. We can easily get that's pretty fucking easy.
Oh my gosh.
I'll send him a message.
What is it, Madden? What's your thing again? Rock bottom.
Yep,
right?
rock bottom coins. Use code Gutfoxx for 10% off.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
no, they'll be definitely down. They're very, very generous. All right, so with that, what was the other? What was the other? Oh yeah, because you said people were angry. You said Giannis was overrated, and that's kind of what you said to say it was a bad one.
Well,
But like
so
here's what you
let me
say
say,
about like. Oh, go on, go
let me
on.
give you this. I'll answer this because a lot of people they get so stuck on the words. You said Giannis was overrated. Overrated is a strong word, but if you actually listen to what I said, Giannis Antetokounmpo, for what people were saying about him at the time, he was overrated, and I was correct. So people were saying that Giannis Antetokounmpo was going to run away with the NBA championship. So my statement was to
Didn't he
where the
though?
no, not that year. No, he lost
Oh,
to Kawhi,
oh, and then he
and
won it like the next year or something.
the next year, the year after, when everybody was hurt, pretty much everybody was hurt and
Gotcha.
injured, he went and won it. But my point was, you guys were saying he's Shaq right now, he's this, and this, and I said, pretty much, he's a great player, but where the analysts are where a lot of people were putting him, he was overrated. And a lot of people just hear overrated
Dude.
and they see the clickbait and they don't go, well, what is the context of overrated to what? You get what I'm saying? So
Chat
that's
saying he beat a healthy Suns team. I don't know, man. This take ain't aging that well. Like it's right up there with your take.
Do you know Dario Saric was injured and hurt during that time? And Dario Saric was going to be one of the key guys to guard Giannis. Now, can Dario guard him? No, but he had 5 fouls. So that's 5 fouls from a 7-footer that you're missing. So they were underhanded. I think Anthony Davis was injured in that playoffs. He didn't play. And I think, there was a number of teams. The Nets had injuries and people out. Kevin Durant came without Kyrie or without James Harden. I forget who was missing. Came a size 17 shoe away from sending Milwaukee home. So, yes, there were injuries. But, hey, there's always injuries. Neither here nor there, guys. But like I said, when
Chat is roasting the shit out of you on that Sonic take or whatever. You're right about the shoe, though. You're right about the shoe.
No, I'm right. I'm right pretty much about everything I say, but it's not what you say. It's not what you say. It's how you say it, and it's the context. Because when I said overrated, it was at that time, and I was correct. But people take it and they run with it. But you know what? Like, there's a part of it where if I'm on that side of the business, you want people to know your name. But there's a whole other thing behind of it. And I'll say this. There's like a give and the take, Gut. So I'll say this. So if ESPN had my back, whatever I said wouldn't have mattered because I would have been on air. And a lot of people don't understand is that I'm just like them in the sense that I never had a full-time show on ESPN. I was always just a fill-in. And people thought I was a mainstay. So I literally would come in when people take time off. But I got the love as if I was a main person. So that sucks in a sense because I never got to, in a sense, vindicate myself. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't have the opportunities I have with the Rockets or where I am or be a household name in the sports community if it wasn't for that. So you got to take the good with the bad. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like. I guess I don't quite follow. Like, so they showed you, like ESPN showed you love. Is that what you're saying? Or
No.
the
Okay,
audience showed you loved?
Okay, so you really don't know sports like that, do you, Gut?
I don't know the NBA at all.
Okay,
as I've grown up.
Gosh. So let me slow down all the way. So I, in broadcasting, used to work on First Take and ESPN. Now, I could go on First Take or whatever and do an interview and something, but I don't work for ESPN anymore, right? And I was kind of like a substitute teacher, if that made sense.
Definitely.
But I was made so famous by my small occurrences of going on the show, and it brought me a level of infamy, if that made sense. So I became
I can see why,
infamous.
yeah.
Yes.
God, the chat lit up with some of your takes, yeah.
Yes, but a lot of people didn't understand that because they don't really watch the show like that. I was never a main person on the show. So let me put it like this. Stephen A. Smith, you'll say he's on his show 80% of the time, right? 80% of the time he's going to be on his show, right? Right? So whatever he says, you're going to just keep hearing him, right? I went on the show probably 5 to 10% of the time, but the impact I had in that 5% spread through the whole sports universe. You get what I'm saying?
I get you. Yeah, that
And
makes
then
sense.
I was never allowed to come back on and kind of be myself and have that platform. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I say they didn't have my back.
So you like RG on GMM, and sometimes you'd announce MUT practice mode, but you couldn't use 2 controllers, and then like he hasn't been back on GMM since, so he hasn't been able to explain himself.
I'm RG, and now RG is just getting bagged. Yeah, he's getting bagged for it. So I'm in so many words, I'm RG, but RG, because of his lovable personality, he's kind of like our John Madden. You know,
Okay.
we love RG. RG has that infectious personality. There could be 10 people in the room, and we're like, "Yo, where's RG? What's RG got to say?" You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the thing there, like the give and the take. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm recognizable. I've done a whole lot more with less, and people treat me like, how do I put it? People scrutinize me like I'm Stephen A. Smith, right? But I'm only on 5% of the time, or was. I haven't been on the show in probably going on 3 or 4 years, but people still remember me.
Do you think Stephen A. got jealous and stabbed you in the back?
No comment, guy.
Yes! Nailed it! Woo! That's really funny. No, actually, you know what's actually really funny?
But you get what I'm saying? Like, but I'm glad where I am right now. So you just got to take lemons and you make lemonade. But like,
that's true.
People don't know me, so the perception is like I was the main person just making millions of dollars on the show, and it's like, nah, bro, I was grinding like you, and people don't associate me with grinding and like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where the disconnect is.
Yeah, I get. I understand. I think we get what you're saying right there. Yeah. So we got information from Roboto. I know ESPN people. He does get mad. So Roboto's kind of like, not you didn't say anything, but Roboto's saying something. We'll say. Also, one thing I forgot to mention during the stream, you know how you and I were talking about coins and stuff.
Yes.
EA Madden NFL may or may not have put a emote in the chat here. So we're gonna go ahead and have to chill a little bit here, but we'll talk offline maybe. But they're watching. They always gotta watch it. They're always watching us.
And I have love. Like I said, I didn't come on here to sugarcoat nothing. I got love for EA. I got love for stuff. I'm disappointed in that I'm playing the game and all I get is like a competitive past player. Like I want to get my coins, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I think they know that. And I can't. Like I said, it's communication and it's a chain. So like, I don't think it's fair to just like Criello used to get crowned as like the king of MUT, and it's like Criello does not make those calls. He can send off an email, he can send off a text to somebody, but like it's communication, and those certain people aren't to blame. And like I said, I really don't like the way the game last year was run. I think the money's a little better, but it's not where it was, because if we go back to Madden 16 or whatever, we made coin. We got $100K for winning or just playing a darn playoffs. And now we don't get those options anymore. And that sucks.
Well, we get cards instead of coins, though, for winning, though. So, but you can always sell those cards, right?
Yeah, you can sell those cards. And if you think about it, yeah, you can get 10K for, let's say you sell like, what is it, like an 87 overall, like, or 87 or 88. You just imagine that's like 10K, right? So, like, yes, it can add up, but I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like from where it was. I'm not, in it like that. I don't think that it's good.
I don't think there's a single player of any mode, solos, online, that enjoys the rewards. And I don't think they've, like, here's the thing, even back then, I'd have like talks to people, and I don't even think people back then really liked rewards where they were at. So it seems like it's a consistent struggle between player base and EA. I think the ones that get screwed the most are truly solo players. They get like, they play against a computer for like 30 games. They got a 90 overall. That's not even bumped up to a 92 because not enough people wasted their time going against the computer. So like they loaded on to 20 games, but still like that should be like a 94. So I don't know.
Yes.
It seems so consistent through the era that rewards just aren't there. And I don't, are they ever gonna be there, do you think?
I think they got better. I think the winning of the Super Bowl was big, so I don't want to just be the guy to complain about anything. I want to be like extremely fair when we bring these matters up. but I'm disappointed from where it was. Or like, you know what? Like, wouldn't it be a lot quicker? Like, wouldn't we just click, give me my 100K, and then instead of giving me all these stupid packs, right? Or
Yeah.
like, remember the
Yeah,
packs
it's
used
a
to
fair point.
actually,
Yeah.
remember when the packs used to actually give you something? So if you had enough coin, it's like, well, I'll gamble and try the pack. And then all of a sudden we looked at the pack odds and we're like, yo, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? So that's a factor because it's very fun. We all like to gamble, and then it got to the point where like it wasn't even cool. It was like, yo, I'm getting robbed. Like this ain't it. Like, you know, so I
Yeah.
get it. It's a business at the end of the day, but they just got so stingy last year. It's a little bit better this year. I get you got to play for these comp players now, and you can add on to your team, but it's still not the same. I'd rather have coin and go out and buy the Baptiste guy or the kicker or what is it, Paulo or whatever the name is, and they're pretty good cards.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. Rather than spend hours at the game, like your hours at the game used to give you coinage, bro.
Yeah, it's fair, and we've discussed this. So sorry for the retreat and me talking about that again. Yeah, it's just so much going on in MUT and Madden itself, but I mean, I think like one of the coolest things I love about the Madden community is when we complain about Madden, everybody's like, "Yep," they hop on board. Like that's crap. Like everybody's kind of on the same mindset, and I feel like that really bonds us together. Our shared hatred for everything Madden almost. But like we're addicted to it at the same time. Whereas like in other games, like MLB The Show, I mean that community, you say something negative about that game, oh, they're on your ass, man. They're like freaking SDS simps over there. And I think that has to do with a lot with the rewards, right? Because SDS's gameplay is worse than Madden's, right? MLB plays worse than Madden plays on a game to game basis. It's awful. But like I don't know. I think like Madden would 100% improve their image if they increased rewards, but again, that takes away from their pockets. So they're in like a
when there's a problem with MLB, what's the communication like with the community? Because I think awful. A lot of this,
it's even worse than EA. It's terrible. It's like, dude, they literally told us the game's working fine this year when it clearly wasn't. It's like even worse, but people still simp for him.
Well, I mean, maybe it's a baseball thing, but I feel like on EA side, it's the communication that would have people be like, all right, cool, like I'm all good, man. If you just keep telling me you're working on it, I can accept it. If you keep giving me make rights or like, you know what drives me crazy? Like the make right will be like here, we'll give you a Twitch pack with 580 overalls in it. And it's like, that's not a make right, dude. Like, but I say it's better than nothing. Like just woo me over, make me feel like you care, and I'm good. That's the only you don't even have to care. Just make me feel like you care. You know what? When I go in public and I go do stuff, I care for people. I like people. But sometimes I'm tired. But guess what? I'm not gonna be like, man, I'm tired. Get the heck out of here. I'm gonna make you feel like I care. Because there's some moments where I don't. There are, and just it's just part of being professional, you know. And I think that's where the disconnect is.
You're saying you're human?
I'm human. It's true. I'm 7 feet.
Weird.
I'm not an alien, even though some people look at me like an alien. And God, if I see you in person, you're gonna be like, man, you're tall, dude, even taller than I thought. And you know what? I don't mind people saying, how tall are you? You know what I'm saying? Or even be amazed. Like when I see like Yao Ming, when I saw Yao Ming for the first time, I was like, yo, this dude is tall. If I see someone taller than me, I want to go, how tall are you, bro? I do. So I never get mad at that. I never get mad at it.
Yeah, if somebody ever recognizes me, I just palm them in the face and get away from me. Say you're too close, man. And then I think that's part of the branding, though.
Do people recognize like your face or your voice more?
No, absolutely not. No, they don't recognize shit. Like I have not been on there debating on ESPN at all. I ain't getting recognized.
You've been recognized before, bro.
I recognized when I met up with somebody in San Francisco for like a dinner. Me, Foxy, and him. That was fun.
There you go.
I met a community member.
There
you technically.
Go.
So you think my voice would get recognized more than my face?
Yeah, G Maya said he'd go places and like people would like hear his voice and be like, "Hold on, you're G Maya."
Well, that's different.
Like,
he literally doesn't. Yeah. He's got a very unique voice, and he doesn't show his face. Have you ever seen G Maya's face?
No comment.
Wow. What does he look like? What does he
No
look like?
comment, bro. No
What do you
comment.
mean no comment?
That's
You
that's
can't
for
just
him to. That's for him and not for me, bro. No comment.
on a scale of 1 to 10. What would you? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask anything.
Oh my
Um,
god.
uh, yeah. Look at the pro athlete. No comment. You're answering it like yeah, like you got to
Well,
give me
no,
hot
at
takes
least
and stuff.
you
You're an
have to.
analyst, not a
No,
pro athlete.
I do. I can. But I'm a big believer in respecting people and their money and what they're doing, dude. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's his
All right,
choice,
that's fair
man.
enough.
It's
He's
his
been saying
body.
he's gonna. Yeah, that's true. He's been saying he's gonna do a face reveal for years now. He never does it. What's going on with
He's not, bro. He's not.
that?
It's like so
That
far
bad,
in the
huh?
game. Yeah, it's like so far in the game. I firmly don't believe he's going to do a face reveal. He says he is, and face cam. I don't believe that.
Gotcha. Chat. I got a question. The closing question. I don't really follow basketball. Is this a rude question? Who dunked on you the
Oh my
hardest?
gosh. Okay, the worst.
Is that a
I
rude
got
one?
dunked. No, 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 no. It's not personal. No, the two times I got dunked on, I have excuses for them, but they were bad. So the first one that I probably say was one of the hardest, or like was the hardest, was Amari Stoudemire, and I was so mad at Kevin Love. So Kevin Love sets me up. Kevin Love is guarding
Wait, he
Amari
did what to you?
Stoudemire. He set me up. He was my teammate at the
Oh,
time.
set.
Oh,
Set.
yeah. Well, do you know who Kevin Love is, or do I have to like?
I do know Kevin Love. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. He was
okay,
he was traded for what's his name for in Cleveland. Yeah.
okay, good. Okay, wow. Okay, so you knew him a little bit. So Kevin was my teammate, and he was guarding Amari Stoudemire, and like Amari backed him in, and like I'm coming over to help, but I'm halfway in between the help because I have to anticipate when he's gonna shoot. And Kevin Love literally just turns his shoulder and opens up and just lets Amari go free. And when he gets free, I'm not ready, and Amari catches me bad. He dunks all over me. And the second one was Shaq.
Let me see if I can find a
And
clip.
I learned a lesson. Yeah, I learned. No, you don't do that, gut. We don't find me. Okay, if you find three positive clips of me, you can show the bad one. Deal? All right, deal. All right, so
Okay, three. Well, name a positive one. I already found the dunk. Should I show it?
You should be able to find positive ones. Gut, you're like a genius. All right, so I'm not buying that. All right, like you're doing like a. All right. So, Shaq, I'm in Dallas, and all shoot around long. Do you know what shoot around is or no?
I like practice ahead of time.
Yeah,
Shoot around?
yes. Like
Yeah.
walkthrough, like football walkthrough, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going through it, and we're walking through a double team on Shaq, and we're doing it from this angle and that angle. And everybody's going through it, and we're walking through it like, yeah, we're going to do this in the game. And then it gets in the game, and I'm guarding Shaq, and like he takes one dribble. I'm like, cool, where's my double team? Okay. He takes another dribble. I'm like, okay, double team's coming, just do my job, right? He takes another dribble and another. Shaq backs me all the way there under the rim, turns, dunks on me. I get an elbow to the face, and like everybody's laughing. And I'm like, well, where was my double team? And at that point, I realized, you know what? When you're guarding somebody, forget the double team. If it comes, it comes. If not, like you're on your own. All right, like just deal with it. So those are the times I got dunked on. But I've dunked on far more people than have dunked on me. Superior.
I've been able to find a lot of clips of you and Shaq on television, but I haven't been able to really find no, I haven't really been able to find the dunk though. Yeah, I've seen your heated debates.
So the crazy thing with me and Shaq is we probably had more heated debates during that show, but that discussion we had there goes viral. And it's funny, every like 3 or 4 months, people contact me as if that clip happened today. And what's crazy is like, I literally set the internet ablaze. We did with that debate, even to where it's lasting today. And a lot of people never even gave me credit for that debate, which is funny. But a lot of stuff that kind of made me like infamous, famous, whatever you'd like to spin on it, love you, hate me, whatever, because of that debate. But that debate was literally almost like 4 years ago, which is crazy. it's been like that, like pre-COVID, like that long ago, you know. So, like life is crazy, man. But that's how
Yeah.
big that debate with Shaq was.
I mean, that is still really cool though that you're able to play against like legends of the game. You
Oh,
played in the NBA for
dude,
10 years. Yeah.
I grew up watching Shaq and had his stuff on my wall. Like you'd probably cream over this. I went to CBS Studio and I was in there with just chilling with Bill Cowher one time. Like you love that one. I
Nice.
took a picture. I'll send it over to you. But I'm like, dude, I grew up watching you. Like, and it's almost like me. I don't know if it's true. Like, I feel like NFL coaches are like so much harder and less accessible than like an NFL coach. Like so like this chilling in there with Coach Cowher, like that was a cool experience, man. Like good
Oh
dude,
yeah.
man.
Oh, that's cool to hear. It's good dude off
Yeah.
screen. So sorry, this will be the last question. Favorite teammate ever?
Favorite teammate ever. I'm gonna go Jamal. I got a lot of them. I'm gonna go Jamal Crawford. Jamal Crawford's like one of the most positive people of all time and like just inspirational. Like every day he's happy, has something cool to say. And like me and Jamal actually used to get into it when we were on other teams. So when we played together, seeing how humble he was, how, down to earth he was very surprising to me. And like, to this day, like we're still, really cool. But like Jamal was definitely fun and he passed me the ball for a lot of dunks. So I definitely enjoyed playing with him.
Nice. So they're calling it J Crossover. It must have been his nickname.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
hot.
You
And
really
then
don't
like,
know sports other than Madden, do you?
well, I don't follow NBA. I follow baseball,
This is
football, and
crazy.
hockey. And then,
This is crazy.
as I gotten older and I can't follow everything. Like, there's just not enough time in the day, so I had to give up NBA. I had to give up NBA and college football for what I used to follow. I used to play games and stuff on them, and you just get. I don't know. You probably feel the same way. Like you don't follow everything, do you?
No, I follow NBA, but like it's funny. It's like I feel like you don't even know basketball like that. Like you don't care. Like, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but like you
Yeah.
like what you like, Gut. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you're
I
like a
know.
polarizing figure in the sports community, and you don't care about basketball.
What's wrong with that? I don't have to
No,
care about basketball to like care about
no, no,
football.
no. There's
I
nothing
I, I
wrong
never
with it.
tweet
It's
about
just funny.
basketball. I mean, I
You
never
don't.
claim to have an
You
opinion on
don't.
it.
No, you don't. You don't. But it's. I just assume you'd like know everything. You're very knowledgeable.
Yeah, I like. Here's the thing: is like nobody can be knowledgeable about everything. So I like to like my things and know those things versus spouting off some tragic nonsense about Giannis being overrated and LeBron being the greatest of all time. Yeah, like dog, I'm pretty sure you're only couple sentences away from saying Michael Jordan was a better baseball player.
Hey man, listen, Gut. They only remember those moments, man. They only remember those moments, and that's you gotta take. Look, you gotta take the good with the bad, man. Like this RG practice mode thing is gonna and the two controller thing is gonna stick with them for a long time, man. So hey, all the good that he's done, that's all you guys remember.
Yeah, that's true. We love RG though, and I love you, Ryan Hollins. Appreciate you coming on today on the podcast. That was fun.
All right, hey, anytime, brother. We'll talk. We'll do it again soon, man. But keep up the good work. Big fan. I want to punch you in the face when you slandered me in a video, and maybe we'll connect online and play. And you can slander me again in good faith, man.
Here's the thing: is like, what is it about you and getting like slandered and talk trash? Like you said that about Crawford too, that you became great friends after he was really John with you, and then the same thing with Jemiah, same thing with me. There's something about like going toe to toe. You said you and your friends do it that really like draws you into like greater friendships. Like that's kind of rare. I feel like.
Well, me and G never started off talking trash. G's mad at me now, but we didn't start off like talking trash. But
Okay.
that's I wouldn't say that's all the time, but I do kind of sound like that, don't I? Don't I, Gut? You might have a point there, dude. I'm a competitor, man. Maybe it's just a Madden thing. Like I'm a competitor,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
You
no,
should
it's
pull that. You should pull that video up. By the way, like you just laid into me. Like imagine me watching you degenerate piece. And I'm like, yo, this dude right here, man. Yo,
yeah, it
I
was
could have. Oh my! I want to kill you, bro. Like I went like I went in the other room like, and I had to like watch it with my earphones on. I'm like, this dude right here.
Madden 20 was
Oh
not a
my
very healthy
god.
time for my mentals. My mentals in Madden 20 were
No,
fucked up. Like that was a bad
and
year.
I realized your anger towards me was coming off with like, you know, and like I think we're the same in the sense like we want to be off meta and like we don't want to get blitzed and like you had to run bunch because no other scheme would block for you. So like it's real nasty if you're not a pro and you have to do your labbing and you're not a part of like an 818 crew or like one of these crews and like you gotta learn on your own. Like it can be very frustrating.
Yeah, yeah, it was a bad year. But anyways, appreciate it. Take it easy. Yeah, take it easy, Ryan.
All right, brother.
Enjoyable. Let's talk again.
All right, peace.
Peace.